One of my favorite videos to make is talking about guys entering their breakout window. Now we're going to set a couple of rules for the video. What does it mean to be a breakout player? They have to be below 40th in these rankings, and they have to be, by my classification, young. Now obviously I'm not setting an age range for that because we're going to have a quarterback in here that's 26. And to me, that's a young age for a quarterback, where if you have a 26 receiver, a 26 running back, you're old, right? So we're going to break this down, and we got 15 of the best names. You can call it buys, you can call it what you want, but these are 15 guys that are approaching their dynasty breakout window. A lot of times we hear the saying, year 2 wide receivers, watch for the breakout. Well, let's see what we got today, man, because not all these guys are year 2. Some of them are even year 3, year 4, but they still have a lot of potential to return value. Name number 1. Let's dig into Breece Hall, 46th in these rankings, 25 years old. He's pretty much the oldest of the youngest, if that makes sense. Like 25 for a running back, you still got 4 or 5 years left in the tank. You play Dynasty in 3 years outlook. We're going to have a 25-and-a-half-year-old running back later on in this video as well. He's coming off of his worst season. Now look at Breece Hall, obviously rookie season. Man, Breece Hall rookie season, he had juice. He looked good. He was everything we all thought he would be. Gruesome injury. 2023, coming off the gruesome injury, 17 points per game, 15 points per game in 24, and then bad season in 25. Listen, the Jets are a dumpster fire. They're a bad football club. I would not be wanting to be a hard-running running back playing there for the New York Jets. It's impossible. Look at the touchdown rate. You can't score touchdowns when your team can't cross the 50. So scratch this one up to, it's a bad organization. It's a bad offense. And keep in mind, like, the Breece Hall and the Jets have always been butting heads. Breece Hall's been begging, please, get me out of here. I don't want to play with Brady Cook anymore. And the Jets are telling him, unfortunately, you are. And keep this in mind, too. Breece Hall, 4 years? Oh, baby, free agent. He's most likely going to be tagged by the Jets right here, and he might be kept hostage for one more season. With that said, one more season is the extent of this. Breece Hall, his long-term dynasty outlook, and even short-term, if we have to rot here with Breece Hall with another 14, 13 point per game season here with the Jets, unfortunate, unlucky, whatever. Maybe you can buy him even lower if you don't get the deal done now. But if you can be a little more patient, Breece Hall will eventually get out of here. Like, he is going to be out of the Jets sooner rather than later. And then it is rocket ship to outer space. We're going to see Breece Hall back up here at this 17 point per game mark. He is somebody that, look, he averaged 6 targets a game. He brought in most of the targets. So he is a receiving upside running back. And he is someone that, look at his yards per attempt. He's someone that averages 4.5 rushing yards per carry. So he's a true dual threat RB, not even 25 years old yet, and he will soon be out of purgatory of the New York Jets. I like Breece Hall as somebody that will break out here within the next 2 seasons. If not this year, then hopefully next in a better spot. Luther Burden. Luther Burden is entering his breakout window, but this one, I feel like everyone knows. 22 years old here for Luther Burden, and he didn't play well. Like, again, we talked about at the beginning, year 2 wide receiver breakouts. You're looking at one right here. Luther Burden, he did absolutely nothing. He was a nobody. You're trash. You're bad. Then he started averaging week 11 on 5 targets, 5 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, 9 targets, breakout game against San Fran. The entire Bears wide receiver room is injured, banged up. You got to rely on Luther Burden in a shootout with the 49ers, 40 points total, and the Bears versus the Niners. Great game. Luther Burden showed that he can be someone that can carry the torch. Rome Odunze has been inconsistent, volatile, and injured. And then you have DJ Moore. He's old. He's kind of getting phased out. It's Burden, Loveland, and Odunze that are the 3 future staples of this Bears offense. Now, what concerns me here with Luther Burden, even though he's in this Bears offense, is how much passing volume are we going to see from Caleb Williams? He's going to have to spread the ball around, even though Burden could potentially be the stable piece. I don't know. I don't like the passing rate necessarily of a Caleb Williams offense, but I do like Luther Burden attached to Ben Johnson, who's already been getting comps to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just keep in mind, I think he might be a little bit overranked right now. Like, we already started to see the breakout, especially in the playoff for the Bears playoff run. And with that said, I just don't want to be buying him at his ceiling. I think we let things settle down. Everyone's all in on Burden now. Their chips are all in on him. Let's see what happens here in the future. Let's see how he settles. Let's see how he starts 2026. Let's see what the passing rate is. But keep in mind, like, this Burden kid, he can play. He was a 5-star, talent coming out of high school, and he's showing why, right? This kid has skill. Name number 3, we're going to go here with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is someone I do like buying right now. Tyler Warren, talking about a guy that can do everything. This guy was a running back at Penn State, a quarterback at Penn State, and I think underutilized here in Indianapolis, and better days are ahead. Now, Indiana Jones is his quarterback, and him and Indiana Jones sing the song, bum, ba, bum, copyright, chill out. Indiana Jones played well with this kid. They averaged around 15 points per game. And then you have, sing the sad song, violin. I don't know a violin song, but sing the song, right? Because then Phillip Rivers came in, and this guy was a bum. Phillip Rivers came in. He's back in the single digits. His targets per game with, Grandpa Phil was pretty solid. Six targets a game. Okay, not bad. But he just didn't do much with them. Maybe the passes weren't great from the 40-plus-year-old quarterback. 24-year-old tight end. He's very, very young. And I watched this guy. Look at the shirt. I watched this guy firsthand at Penn State. Elite talent. If you watch this guy, he's an elite talent. He catches everything. And the way that Indiana Jones controls the offense, Tyler Warren is going to be someone that averages 15 points per game again as soon as Indiana Jones gets back up to full speed. I think he has slid a little bit in the rankings due to that last half of the year. When you have guys like Fannin right next to him in the rankings, Tyler Warren is someone to keep an eye out for a major breakout. Marvin Harrison Jr., 23 years old. Everyone has been saying for the last 3 seasons, the breakout is coming. The breakout is imminent, and unfortunately, the breakout is never coming. It seems like you have Michael Wilson having the Cardinals wide receiver breakout before MHJ. That's absolutely wild to me. Who would have thunk it? MHJ averages 50 receiving yards a game. He's still getting decent targets. He's still out there for most of the snaps. He just hasn't put it together. There's not much positive to say here about MHJ except for his young age. And listen, this guy was a stud prospect coming out. We just saw Kyle Pitts have like a year 4 breakout after doing nothing since his rookie season. Can MHJ do the same thing? The answer is a resounding no, unless they get a quarterback. So MHJ is a quarterback and maybe even a change of scenery away from having one last chance. I'm not saying go bet on the MHJ breakout. I'm saying this is a guy that's 24 years old. He had all the talent at college. Haven't seen it click. His quarterback's been 5'6", sitting back in the pocket with the joysticks playing COD. You can also say, listen, he had Brissett. He was banged up. Did he really have a chance with Brissett? I don't know. But I do know that MHJ does still have upside that I do like. And there's a world where this guy maybe has a year 3 crazy breakout with a change of quarterback, and he could be up here in the top 20s. This is a name asset. We talked about value insulation in some of these videos. Marvin Harrison Jr., if he does anything, if he averages 15 points per game, people will soar this guy up the rankings faster than you can blink. So that is a good part of MHJ right here. He has that name recognition, but it's how much longer can you keep betting on this kid? I don't know. Quinshon Judkins, 22 years old. We started to see a breakout in his rookie season, and then he got injured, gruesome injury. But what I like to see was his targets per game going up. Final couple of games of the season, he was averaging about 3.5 targets per game, and he was bringing them in. He was doing the most with them. So I do think that he can step in as the check down option and leapfrog Dylan Sampson, who kind of took that 3rd down role for the majority of the middle of the season away from him, where Judkins was more of that hard ground and pound rusher. Now keep in mind there's going to be a new coach here, and maybe this change of coaching, they want to use Judkins a little bit more, or maybe they use him less. Hopefully the former is the option. Now he is going to have to recover fully from this injury. We're going to have to monitor this situation, but a 22-year-old running back that showed promise in his rookie season, I think a Judkins breakout is ahead, and I like the price right now if you want to go target him. Chase Brown. Now this is probably going to be the oldest of the positional average ages in this video. He's going to be 26. Chase Brown has not even finished his rookie contract, and the rumor is, the word on the street, ear of the street, Chase Brown is working on a contract extension with the Bengals. Man, you better get this buy deal done before that Chase Brown extension, because his price will go up once we hear Chase Brown 3-year, $30 million extension. Once we hear that, Chase Brown will go up in the ranks, and I want this guy on my team before then. Look at the back half of the year. No one's talking about it. Chase Brown averaged 20 plus points per game the back half of the season. He averaged 5, 6, 7 targets per game. He averaged a touchdown per game. He was immaculate. This Bengals offense is good. Even without Joe Burrow, he was at 10 points per game, which is bad. But, with Joe Burrow, 20 plus points per game. The Bengals offense is one of the best in the league. And if he's getting 7 targets a game because they're playing from behind because the Bengals defense is so bad, Chase Brown is one of my favorite buys right now in Dynasty at price. And the fact that they're working on that extension, rub the hands together, I'm excited. Fannin Jr, we talked about him compared to Tyler Warren. Fannin had Dylan Gabriel. He had Joe Flacco. He had Shador quarterback. This guy showed he was kind of quarterback proof, averaged 11.6 points per game, and he did it with every one of the quarterbacks. It's not like he was worse with any of the three. He was just solid, and we actually saw him even have some of his best games in the back half of the season. 25 targets in a 2-week span. Absolutely ridiculous. Fannin showed a lot of bright spots, and he's probably the youngest player in the league. 21 years old right here as a tight end. The future is bright for this kid. He was elite, broke college football records, receiving records as a tight end at Bowling Green. And it translated. It translated everyone's question. Fannin, he was a round 3 selection, round 4. Everybody questioned. Listen, this guy did it against Bowling Green comp. He had 2,000 receiving yards against Bowling Green competition. Can he do it in the NFL? That's why everyone was hesitant here, and he was a 3rd round rookie selection. But clearly, he answered that question. The answer is yes. So this guy's the real deal. We got Tyler Shough, one of my favorite names to be buying right now. I just bought him in my league for 2 late seconds, a late 3rd, and Kamara. Tyler Shough, don't look at the average. Look at the back half of the year. Back half of the season, yards per game. He averaged around 275 passing yards per game. Solid. Passing touchdown rate, it was mid. It is what it is. The rushing yards per game, he averaged around 27, 30 rushing yards per game. That is a good floor to be having here as a quarterback. He's not necessarily a high dual threat guy, but 25 rushing yards per game is nothing to sneeze at. Like that is solid when you're also going to have 275 passing yards as well. Keep in mind, 26 years old, probably the oldest guy in this vid, but 26 as a rookie. He was a rookie quarterback, super old guy, played 12 years in college. I'm joking, but he played a lot in college, came out in the draft. The Saints wanted him, and the Saints are saying he's our future quarterback for 2026 and beyond. I'm excited a lot for him. I think that right now he's way too underranked. He's currently ranked 83rd. Me personally, I would have him up here around Scam Darnold and Cameron Ward. I'd have him right around these guys, probably around like 68th, 69th in the rankings. Really like him as a buy opportunity. Now we got like 7 more names, and these are going to be guys that are lower in the ranks, that their breakouts are imminent. Oronde Gadsden, 23 years old, very young tight end, and Justin Herbert has never really had a tight end at his call and beckon. And now he has Gadsden, he came out, and everyone's saying this guy is very talented. He's very good at catching the football. I think he played receiver actually in college as well. Will Dissly was ahead of him on the depth chart. You had Tyler Conklin, who they just brought in from the Jets, ahead of him on the depth chart. So he was a healthy scratch the first 2 weeks, started off really slow, and then exploded. Exploded for 15, 16 points per game average over 4 weeks, and then fell back off the face of the earth. Not good at all. Now, 23 years old, there is a lot of mouths to feed over there in the Chargers system. Let's go look at Darren Waller. Why? Because Mike McDaniels is the new OC. Oh, baby. What does that mean? Well, Darren Waller just had, a 13 point per game average as a tight end. And who's better, Darren Waller or Oronde Gadsden? I'll wait, right? So this is what excites me here about Gadsden. And I think that his price to be buying him at right now is very, very good. So I like Gadsden entering a breakout potential year. Jaden Higgins, let's see where he's ranked. I feel like Higgins, people are starting to recognize that Higgins can be something special here. He's number 91 in the ranks. It's honestly a bit rich for my blood, but we talked about Nico Collins in a lot of these videos being kind of a bum. And if Collins is a bum, who's next man up in this Texan system? I think Higgins is Nico Collins 2.0. 23 years old, 8 points per game average, not great, but we saw that he did have a connection with Stroud. He averaged about 5, 6, 7 targets per game, and he looks good, man. He's a big-bodied receiver. Literally reminds me of Nico Collins 2.0, and Collins misses time. If Collins misses any time in 26, we're going to see that year 2 breakout happen here for Jaden Higgins, name to keep an eye on. We're going to fly through these last couple of names. We got Theo Johnson, 24-year-old tight end. Now, what excites me here about Mr. Theo Johnson is the age. He has all the athleticism in the world, but he showed some connection here with Jackson Dart. He had a major increase in points per game from 2024 as a rookie to 2025, and he showed that he should be the staple piece tight end in this Giants offense. Touchdown rate, he had a couple touchdowns this year, but I think we could even see him be more involved as an athletic, big-bodied freak. Look at his points per game. Very volatile, very hills, very valley. But he did have some good hills. 21 points, 16 points, 11, 15, 10, 10. And what I like to see was the targets per game here with Jackson Dart. He was around 6 targets per game. That's not too shabby from a tight end. And his yards per out run in the back half of the year was hovering around 2 yards per out run. So I think Theo Johnson has a good, bright future ahead. There's a good chance that he returns value when he's currently ranked 151. I'd be looking to trade a late second or third round pick to see if I can scoop him up. Terrence Ferguson, another tight end buried down here in the ranks around Theo Johnson. Stafford, they didn't win the Super Bowl. Hopefully Stafford comes back. As long as Stafford comes back, I don't see why Terrence Ferguson can't develop into even more of a red zone threat. Every time I was watching the Rams play in the back half of the year and in the playoffs, it seemed like it was Terrence Ferguson running downfield, getting some red zone looks from Matt Stafford, right? So I think that Terrence Ferguson has a bright future ahead of him as long as he can break out prior to the Matthew Stafford career-ending injury, prior to the Matthew Stafford retirement. So I really think Ferguson is a good one to watch out for. You got 3 more names. Isaac TeSlaa. This guy is talented. Dan Campbell makes his receivers earn their rookie stripes. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he averaged 13 points per game in his rookie year, 75% snap rate. Worst season of his career, not many people talk about that. Jameson Williams, he was injured, he was gambling, he was strapped up in his car, not with the seatbelt. So Jameson Williams had 3 absolutely terrible years to start his career before the breakout. Isaac TeSlaa, Dan Campbell has already said TeSlaa did everything he needed to see him do as a rookie. And if you look at TeSlaa, like, he was productive with his limited opportunities. Every time we saw Mr. TeSlaa, he was scoring a touchdown. He probably had, like, if you look at there's probably a stat. Well, if you look at touchdowns per target, I'm sure it's a stat somewhere. I would bet that TeSlaa is probably number 1 in the league. So Isaac TeSlaa, he was making ridiculous catches as well. If he can put it together, or he gets an opportunity with Jameson, Amon-Ra is very consistent. Amon-Ra is very tough. I don't expect Amon-Ra to miss time. He plays through injury. Jameson Williams is the wild card here. You know, I'd be more shocked if Jameson Williams plays a full season over the next 2 seasons rather than he doesn't, right? So I think TeSlaa will get an opportunity to shine at some point, and I think even if nobody gets injured here, I do think TeSlaa improves, and he will, because he wasn't the guaranteed wide receiver 3 for most of the season. He will leapfrog Khalif Raymond. He will be that wide receiver 3, and TeSlaa does have a bright future, and you can buy him for a bag of beans. 2 more names, and this one's funny. It's funny, but it's sad. Anthony Richardson. Don't forget about him. He's 24 years old, and the Colts are going to have to let this guy go. The rushing upside is just good. It's good rushing upside. We just saw this not work with Justin Fields. That's scary. Like, the Fields experiment did not work, and Fields is actually named. Don't forget about Fields either. Like, there's a world where Fields and Richardson both find homes as a starting quarterback. Kind of ridiculous to say that. But AR, he's going to probably leave Indianapolis. He's going to get a chance to go somewhere. Will he start? I don't know. But he's very young, 24 years old. Rushing upside quarterback. Technically, he is entering his breakout years, guys. Whether he capitalizes on it, I don't know. Final name of the video, and I waited till the end just because a lot of people have heard me talk about him before, is BTJ. He's obviously higher ranked, but Brian Thomas Jr. Simple as this. Travis Hunter, he's going to split time on offense and defense. Parker the Pest, Parker Washington, he will definitely be annoying and a nuisance, but he's not the same caliber player as BTJ. And you have Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers will be a pest in the short term. He'll probably average 11, 12 points per game, but he's 29. He's old. It's only going to last so long. Brian Thomas Jr. has bright years ahead of him, and even if it doesn't work here in Jacksonville, which I'd be surprised if it doesn't, I think BTJ will be back up here around 14 points per game in 2026. I'd like to chalk this up to some injury concerns in 25, playing through the shoulder, but I think BTJ has bright future ahead, and this is somebody who has the name recognition, has the good rookie season. If he rebounds in 26, his value will skyrocket, and the value inflation will return. So he's one of my favorite buys right now in Dynasty football as well. His price is kind of starting to raise, though. Like, I'm sending a late first for BTJ. A lot of people in the comments are saying they're able to send a late first to get this deal done. So you can comment down below if you're able to get that deal done as well. 15 names entering their breakout seasons, breakout eligible time. It's time for them to take their opportunity and run with it. Smash that subscribe button, comment down below any questions, join the Discord and the Patreon. See you in the next one. Peace.